Hey everybody, it's John Wolpert here with the Baseline community, and we are going to talk all things Baseline protocol today. And we have our oops, somebody's got their YouTube on.
I hope so.
I think that might be me. That is me. Okay. Yeah, well, it was such a good intro. We needed it twice. So it's great to see everybody. We got Nick Criticos, of course, Devin Jones, Andreas Freunds, Mark Haddle, and Luis Hamilton. It's great to see you guys. Luis, we're going to talk about your project with the NFT, Baseline NFT, and you're going to show us how to MetaMask with Baseline Stack and what the ins and outs and how to do it and what the issues are, right? And so we'll do that today. We're also going to talk a little bit later with Boris Breslov and folks about their new ZK project. And we'll get into some news. And we'll and if you haven't seen yet, the Baseline show or the Baseline protocol YouTube video is out. And we'll put the link to that online in just a second here. So if you haven't seen that 3-minute explainer video called The Little Bit and out of Baseline, please take a look, like, subscribe, and share. Share it to all your friends who need to understand how the Baseline protocol or what it's all about. That said, it's also on the Baseline. We've put it on the Baseline website, so you can go there and go to baselineprotocol.org. And you will see the video right there as well. So it's good to see everybody. Andreas, why don't you start us off with one piece of news? I understand the standard is baked and ready for ratification. You want to say anything about that before we get on to Luis? Oh, you're on mute.
The mic button was hidden behind the chat box. Oops. So yes, we're baking the final edits. So it's like the typical very embarrassing typos are not there. The list of contributors and editors is all good, and we shall be shipping that in the next day or two. Just need to do a critical discerning look on the last things about naming and consistency, blah blah blah, because we want to ship a comprehensive and complete product. So it's there's still a couple of editing PRs, finalized PRs that are gonna drop over the next 24-48 hours, or that are going to be merged in the next 24-48 hours, and we'll be shipping it before the weekend to the TSC for such that everybody has a very entertaining, pleasant, and thrilling weekend read.
All right. And I'm going to do that. What do they call it? ASMR voiceover for it after we've ratified it. I'll go through and, requirement number 3.
First weekend of fall, get a pumpkin spice latte and curl up with a nice specification.
Yeah, you got to curl up with a nice specification before bed.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth just now. But
well, that's a good ASMR sound. In fact, Anyway, that's great, Andreas. Congratulations on that. And honestly, well done. I know you've had to do a bunch of nagging this week, you and Anais, and there's some real busy, talented people that need to put their fingerprints on a couple of things, and getting them to do it when they're that busy is hard. So well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. So let's get right into it. Luis, I think it's, are you ready to show us your code?
Yes, but I have just 2 lines of code, not too much.
All right. Well, I think it's time for... Yes, it's Code Don't Lie, everybody. Time for Code Don't Lie, the segment on our show where we talk about the code and we review what really is going on with the baseline protocol. Luis, it's all you. You can share your screen, I believe, and feel free to do so.
Okay. So I've been working with this NFT project to Baseline, and we reached a point that we have to sign some messages, and we would like to do that using MetaMask, for example. And we find out that it's not possible because MetaMask use algorithm to sign that is not used for not very useful for ZK rollups.
And for technical folks today that who might be tuning in, that's MetaMask signs in ECDSA, which uses one curve, and we use Baseline Stack uses EDDSA.
Yes, yeah.
And Andreas, would you like to regale us with a very like a 1 minute on what the difference is and why we use EDDSA?
Yes. So ECDSA is or stands for elliptic curve digital signature algorithm. So that's your typical digital signature algorithms based on elliptic curves, such as our beloved friend SECP256K1 from Ethereum and Bitcoin, or even ED25519. Now, that has a very significant drawback. If you want to use that in with ZK snarks, or in any environment where you're pairing elliptic curves, these curves in ECDSA are not what's called pairing friendly, not very pairing friendly. So it's like they're like trying to hug a cactus, not pleasant. So
okay.
You can do it, but what it means, your circuits and everything is just blowing up.
Very good. I think that might be sufficient for now. Anything else?
The alternative EDDSA is a twisted form, so to speak, of ECDSA, and that is actually pairing friendly and has some cryptographic twists and turns, so to speak, that make it very efficient in circuits, or let's say more efficient than the other. Hence, we want to do it. So unfortunately, MetaMask is ECDSA, but we need in the circuits EDDSA. So Luis shows the magic.
Yeah. So and Luis has been working on this for a bit, and we thought we will package this up into a little cookbook for people that want to use MetaMask in a baseline stack, like the one we're using it for, which is we want to be able to allow you to do a baseline NFT, and we'll be showing that at ETH Atlanta, ethatl.com. Join us on the 1st of October through the 3rd for the hackathon. Sign up, win fabulous prizes, and become famous and powerful. So we'll see you there at ETH Atlanta, which is both virtual and live in Atlanta, and we'll be very much safe protocols, so we won't have a super spreader event. Luis is preparing that work, and so in order to do a baseline NFT, we need to have the ability to sign with MetaMask, right?
Yes. So when you other way to sign these messages to send to a secret, you could what projects use. You have signature servers. So you send a request, a message to the servers. It will sign for you and return the signed message for you. And it's one possibility to do it. And I think that's what Provide does with their stack. And there is also CodeFi from Consensus also does that. Like you create an account, they have your private key, and when you need to use it, it's secure also. You send a message, they sign, the server sign and returns it to you, and you use this message. But we were thinking to use MetaMask because it's going to be help to log in the application, and it's what hackers, not hackers, the developers and users of the blockchain space uses a lot. And if you are able to do it with MetaMask, we will try to work with other wallets also. And so MetaMask has this plugin development, and Andreas found these servers that you could, this plugin that was developed using MetaMask in another project. It was called Loop Ring, and it was from 2 years ago. And since MetaMask updated their code, it isn't working anymore. And MetaMask changed how to develop a plugin using their code, and now it's called Snaps. So I went
What was that again? Could you double check?
It's called Snaps.
Could you spell it?
Yes, Sierra, November, Alpha, P, and Sierra.
Snaps?
Yeah, Snaps, yes.
Cool.
Good. So MetaMask has a branch. If you go to, I'll share my screen here. So the MetaMask has, tell me if you cannot see my screen. Okay. So you can go to MetaMask repo where they have their code, and they have a branch called Snaps. So you get this code and follow instructions on how to build this MetaMask extension and deploy it in your browser and load in your browser just like a MetaMask does. And just follow the instructions, and it will work. After getting the snaps, you have another branch, another repo from MetaMask, which is snaps with some examples. So it has, if I'm not wrong, 4 examples, and you just follow the instructions to build and deploy the code, and you are able to start developing using MetaMask plugin. And what I have, John said that we are going to work with this NFT and baseline project, and I didn't manage to make it working yet. It's a work in progress. What I can show here is this simple example from MetaMask snaps that you can connect to the MetaMask that uses.
Just a quick check there, buddy. Make sure that you're not going to display any personal information there.
Okay, I did it before. Thanks.
Okay.
And then you connect to the MetaMask that code that was using snaps, and here is just print a message, and it is a code that is using a MetaMask plugin, not plugin, but it snaps. And to be able to let me move back here. So to be able to develop this MetaMask plugin and be able to sign using this EDSA, that's what you are going to develop. It isn't 100% yet running, and it's something that I'm working on.
Very cool. And so, what's your advice for anybody that wants to put together a baseline stack with and use MetaMask in an application? How do you? So you go to Snaps, one of those things. What kind of code do you want to be writing there? And let's talk about what we need to do to improve to make this. What does Kyle always say? The easy button.
This MetaMask snaps and plugin. The first step is to make this signature algorithm work, because with this we can reuse in another project with this way to sign using ED and DSA algorithm. So that would be the first step. And if anybody would like to help with, if you have some JavaScript experience or because you see inside the code we have a lot of math that it does to make the signature work. And so if you know JavaScript libraries that use and make it not correct, but that works signing using ED, DSA, it will be pretty helpful.
Right on. Probably doesn't hurt that we know the MetaMask folks pretty well, so that's also a good thing.
Meta who?
Yeah, no.
Just kidding.
Don't mess around.
Just
They're
kidding.
watching. They'll get you. Yeah, that's really good, Luis. So I think we're committed to putting up as soon as probably, right around maybe that's the final thing we'll package up, Luis, is a little cookbook for ETH Atlanta. Little cookbook on this so that people can, we can put it into the repo so that people in the examples folder of the repo so that people can say, oh yeah, that's how I'll do it.
Yes, I will do this cookbook because for the first days when I was using this MetaMask plugin, it was information was all over the Google, so I had to find out how to make the snaps work and find out the branch, and if I'm able to make this cookbook for the ETH Atlanta hackathon, it will be pretty helpful.
I think you just got nominated for the core devs and TSC elections coming up. Is that right, Luis?
Yes, that's right.
Well, I think you have shown yourself worthy. You did the hard work, and thank you for that.
Awesome stuff, and also a big thank to Brecht and Loopring. Loopring, by the way, is a ZK rollup protocol, and they're doing awesome work, and they're actually live. So big thanks to them. Even though as with everything, gets outdated the minute it's out, but Luis is doing the hard lifting to make it compliant again, and the MetaMask folks are getting some good feedback that their integrations can still be, let me say, slightly improved.
Every day and every way we get better and better. So very good.
That's true. But it's exciting to see these two worlds starting to merge because they have to.
So anybody that is out there that really that wants to do a MetaMask baselining, a project that would involve MetaMask, you can reach out to Luis on baseline-protocol.org. Go to the Slack channels. Click on the inviter up on the top right corner, and it's easy peasy to reach out to any of us in the Baseline community. Super friendly, thousands of people in there, but I don't think we've ever not responded to somebody in under like 10, 15 minutes. So, reach out, and in the meantime, and ultimately you'll be able to go to the repo in early October, certainly I should hope 1st or 2nd or 3rd of October, and go in and see that code. So thank you for that, Luis. I think up next, David Jones from Provide. I think you've been working on something as well, right? Shall we?
DJ,
are you going to show us some code?
Yeah, that's right. Maybe not some code. I can show you guys some UI.
I think that still counts for. I just like that so much. So David, you're up.
So we've discussed a few times kind of how difficult it is to understand what's happening in the Baseline protocol. And you've mentioned needing a hello world a couple times, and you also mentioned a game you played with one of your children, Battleship. And you had spoken about how that was really helpful in understanding kind of what was going on in the Baseline protocol. So what we did is we took that and we decided to kind of make that into an actual game that people can go and play to help to better understand the baseline protocol, what's happening behind the scenes, how things are working, how things are connected, in a real tangible way that people already understand. And we've got that. We've got the back end wired up for this, and we've got some prototype UI put together. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, get some feedback, kind of show it off a little bit. Let me share my screen here.
Here, I'll give you your little tag for provide there. Everyone, go if you want the closest thing we have so far to an easy button for baselining today. Go to provide.services.
There we go.
All
right. So this is really just the prototype UI. So would love any feedback that anybody has to kind of help make this a little bit more understandable and more tangible. We couldn't use the name Battleship, so we went with Battleline, but it is a Battleship style game. And of course, like any game, you can learn more about it, but there is a brief walkthrough, a brief introduction to help people really understand what's going on. First, you create an organization that gets used as a counterparty in the battlefield. And the battlefield is, of course, a work group. And as you're going through there, you create your organization, you create your work group. And then you are given your mission. And just like all Battleship games, your mission is to sink all your opponent's ships. So the first thing you've got to do is use your system of record, which is your grid here, that holds the data, which is your ships and only your data. You don't see anybody else's data in that. Some of these explainers obviously need a little bit of beefing up, but again, this is just the prototype. So then you're given your ships. You're kind of told what they are. They're the objects in your system of record. You need to place them because that's how Battleship works. And then you're kind of told a little bit about provers and how they work. And this part is obviously one of the more complicated parts. So this is likely going to get a little bit of a facelift, but here's just a real brief overview. They essentially just enable the verification of whether or not you have a hit or miss on your opponent's ships without giving away your ship positions or theirs. And that's accomplished via one of these zero knowledge projectiles. Or
That's awesome.
So you fire a ZKP and you kind of walk through how those work. Verified ZKP or prover is a hit. A failed if it's not verified, it's a miss. So you place your ships and you enter the coordinates. And this is all just kind of a test run here. And then you launch your ZKP and it goes through the process and kind of you're told what's happening behind the scenes there. So you get a better understanding of how all these pieces work together. Exactly. Sound effects not included yet, but they will be. So then you're that's it. That's kind of a quick explainer of what's going on, and then you're ready to invite the counterparty to play in your battlefield. And all of this will be playable. You'll be able to invite counterparties and actually go back and forth on this to really kind of better understand what's happening with the process. And that's where we are now.
That is outstanding.
Will there be Battleline tournaments at ETH Atlanta?
Ooh, that's a great idea. I can't say yes or no.
We might organize some ad hoc around the bar or something. But anyway, sorry, John.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So, David, what is your feeling about what the plan is for Battleline? And I mean, I know you guys are you've bitten up off a lot to chew for ETH Atlanta. Is this going to be ready for then?
Oh, that's a very good question. We hope so.
And do you need help? There's
We
a
hope
question.
so we've got the back end wired up. We've got some test suites running, making sure everything's working correctly. I'm not sure. We might need help. I'll reach out if we do. We've got to get the UI put together, obviously, but the back end's all there and ready to go. So,
well, this is a hackathon, so pretty is not important. Right?
Exactly.
So I think in fact, I think the NFT demo, we've deliberately made it so that it looks like almost like this, like gray boxes and an upload button that is standard upload button.
Yeah.
Nothing pretty about it. literally to say, hey, this is clay, not a finished product, right? We want people to be able to use it and build stuff with it. And this will be open source, right?
Yes. We'll put this out there for everybody, and we would love for people to hack on it too. So.
Okay, great. So if you can do a pull request on this into the repo, and let me know, we might be able to scare up some bounties for anybody that wants to tap in and help. I know that sometimes you get to a point, and we're pretty close to the event now, so we probably should have done this a month ago. But if there are, you might want to think about, are there spots where you could use, where there's just something that you need somebody to do, you can articulate it and get it done, and start to parallelize some of this stuff so that you can improve the chances of getting it done for the show. I think we might have some takers for that.
All right, yeah, we'll get that put together as soon as we can. I still cannot give an affirmative yes or no on whether or not this will be ready for ETH Atlanta, but we hope so. We're working on it.
Yep, got it. David, thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
And here we have Boris Breslov, who's also come in. Boris, good to see you.
Hi, how are you? Thank you.
And you've been working on something as well. You want to tell us about that?
Sure. Can I share it, or do you want me to just talk about it?
Are you going to show us code?
We will. Luis is going to show us code. I was just going to, at the high level, describe what we did in the last month or so, and then he'll show us the code. So
for the ZK stuff?
Yes. I can talk through it. I can talk through, I have a few bullet points, so I can talk through it. If there are any questions, please ask me.
All right. Well, okay. So, hey, this is a record. We have 3. Never had 3 Code Don't Lie sessions in one baseline show before. So congratulations.
I'll go very fast, so we have a lot more time for Luis.
Yep. If you want to show your screen, you're welcome to.
How do I share my screen?
Button right there. It says share screen.
Where is the?
Underneath your thing right there, where your mute and camera is, there's a share screen button.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. Okay, that's better. Okay, let me just do this. Just give me a second. Okay. Great. Okay. I think you see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, so just quickly to everybody, the project was about building financial circuits, and what we did originally, we basically it's for a request for bid by a party that goes out and requests other counterparties to provide a quote on a bond. Originally, what we did it for vanilla bonds, and vanilla bonds are the most basic bonds. These are like fixed coupons. And what we did now, we extended it to exotic bonds and floating rate notes and callable bonds. So it's a more complex type of a bond that basically any corporate bond can be now used by the circuit. And I'll get very quickly into what actually the circuit does. So these are basically the rules that the circuit enforces. So a quote that we got back from a counterparty cannot be 0. It will select the smallest quote within the circuit, and for other participants, for which quote was not accepted, the verification circuit will fail. So if some counterparty that is not the appropriate counterparty, they will never be able to verify it. And if all counterparties received or the same, the first one received in sequence will be accepted. So it's not an extensive set of rules, but that's what the circuit does, and it can be definitely extended further. As far as rules go, I understand Luis also pinged me today that we looked at the size of our circuit. It's a nice size, and it does quite a bit of logic. Also, yeah, that's about it as far as what we did. And then there is a lot more detail that Louis will get into. So are there any questions or surprises?
I don't have any guys.
Yeah.
You have anything? I think it's pretty awesome, right? We've got
Yeah.
we need to. I think the bond issue is great, and it really shows the issue of why we need zero knowledge circuits, right? As opposed to just, if you just wanted to prove consistency on a point-to-point basis with one counterparty that you know about, we have ways of doing that. In fact, a lot of folks, run aground on baselining from that perspective. They're like, well, I can get a digital signature back from somebody. It's not a problem, right? But to enforce rules and conditions, this bond has to have these attributes or can't go over this or can't go under that. I think that's where it gets really interesting and where it becomes audit tech, right? Where you can really save time on and cost on making sure that you're compliant, right?
I mean, we do have a sequence diagram that I extended, but I think we covered it last time, and I think Louis will probably get it with the code. We'll get into more details.
Right on. Louis,
Yeah.
go take it away.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll stop sharing. Yeah.
Okay. So what we worked during developing this bond secret, me as a Solidity developer, what I was missing when researching about secret was seeing a smart contract deployed where I could test, send some data and send a call and see it working in Rinkeby or any testnet, any other testnet. Gnark has had some examples, and we were able to use Gnark library. So our secret right now, what it does, it generates the smart contract using Gnark library, and you can run our test. We are going to output the data that you need to populate a smart contract so you can verify if the secret is correct or not. If your information with the public information that you have, you send to the verifier smart contract, and you get as an answer true if it's if the secret is validated, or false if you don't have the correct inputs. And so I'll show here so we have a verifier smart contract deployed in Rinkeby. The only problem to test, the issue that we have to test using scan, for example, is it isn't accepting the data that if you have this kind of array to send to the verifier smart contract. But we can verify using Remix. So here I also have the code that is exported from Gnark library after compiling and setting up the bond secret. And here is the inputs that we need to send to the verifier to see if we have the correct inputs. Here is a bunch of numbers. A, B, and C, it has the proof values that after the secret was executed, we have proof. And the inputs that we need to send, which is our public inputs for the secret, which is, I'll show here. What is public is the...
Yeah. Apologies, folks, for it being a bit blurry, but it's actually coming into better focus now. Go ahead.
Okay. So here is we have the code signed, and the public keys from the other counterparties, and the bond hash so the secret knows that the code that you are querying is from a specific bond. And so here the inputs from that you send using Remix is is equivalent to this to the public input for the circuit. And as I said, when you run, we develop it to make it pretty simple to run the tests. Just type go test, and we have the bonding, compiling, setting up, and then we run a bunch of user cases. And while it's running, compiling, setting up, here is the output from a test that you can use this data and send to the smart contract and see it's being verified. I'll show here using Remix that if let me clear here. So it's returning true. So I have the correct information for the correct code for that specific bond. So if I change any number here and call the verifier again, it will return false. So I don't have the correct code, or I don't have the public key from the other counterparties. So I'm missing some of the public output, some of the public inputs. So yes, that's what we developed from the last time that we did the show, the demo from our bond secret. So we have the smart contract, we have deployed, and we have more test cases.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Luis. Luis and Boris, let's discuss. Nick, Samrat, Andreas, Mark, what do we think about this? And where do you want to go next? How would we deploy it? And is it live yet on the baseline repo?
Yes, I updated our last pull request. It has all the code that we developed.
But it's not been merged to main?
No, it isn't merged.
Okay, let's do that. Right, let's get her done. And maybe Andreas can take a look, and we can look at other folks can take a look. Let's get that in. But can you put the link to the current? At least people can see it on the pull request. So if you can put the link in chat, I'll put it up on a caption so people can find it. And so Boris, what do you think? What are the implications of this? Where do we go from here?
Oh, it is. Originally, when we actually started working on it, I was thinking more of it like maybe as far as like from a usage perspective, more of like an experiment. Can we do it in GNARC? Can it actually be done for a financial? Not very complicated, but it's medium complexity logic. But recently, what I have been seeing in the industry, that there is some serious thoughts about actually potentially putting up quotes for financial instruments on the blockchain, or exposing them, not necessarily using tools like Bloomberg and other types of like quote or trading platforms, because they're very expensive. So I think the smaller players, potentially somebody that wants to is thinking of buying a bond, they could potentially that can become like a real application. But what we did learn, although GNARC was pretty new to us and the libraries were pretty new, we were able to implement relatively complex logic for a financial product. And it wasn't like we started simple, and then we realized that we kind of did 3/4 of the work already, because we kind of like coded it for like the vanilla bonds and the exotic ones almost in one swoop. So that was like that was a good thing. I mean, that was very helpful. Not helpful, and it was a good thing that we learned. I don't know. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts, opinions, or like can be adapted to other financial products, I think, relatively easily, not with like a whole lot of complexity, because kind of like the base is there already, and the products are often very similar. You know, it's like you have a name, you have a ticker, you have a quote, things like that. It's very, very similar, like a lot of products here.
What do you think we need to do to bridge the gap from where we are now to, major entities using this approach for this?
I think we need feedback. I think we need to do a bit of research, a bit more research on actually, and feedback from like real users. What do they think about it? I think that's not that I'm saying we should go to Bloomberg and say, okay, we have we're going to replace some of your functionality. That's not a good approach, but maybe smaller players that do some trading. Maybe, yeah, because this is all OTC. It's over-the-counter products. Corporate bonds are like they're over-the-counter. This is not like flow, like, you get 10 million of them, like stocks or things like that. There are small players out there that actually kind of like, we'll probably need a UI. We need to build a GUI, a nice GUI to this whole thing that can kind of face it, because, I mean, right now it's very easy to run. You clone it, you do go test, it's going to run all the tests for you, and you could kind of see all the ins and outs there. It's very straightforward, and porting it to the blockchain. I mean, Louis showed it to us that basically you can run it. It works for a smart contract, so you could verify it already on the blockchain. There is a little more like a little more work that needs to be done to smooth it out a bit, because we need to do probably a little more research about that. But I think like small players, we could probably kind of like, I don't know. I'm thinking of I'm talking about selling, but I think exposing it to more people would be good.
Right on. Very good.
Yeah, definitely see what they think. But yeah,
so you can bring auctions to you can bring bond auctions to permissioned Aave markets. That's what I would build right now. That is if you want to productize it, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Permission Aave and compound markets for bond like instruments that seeking capital providers, and that don't just want to do like the trading based on a curve, but want to do an auction setting in a private but verifiable way.
Yeah.
So I would that's what I would do. It's relatively straightforward to integrate that.
Yeah, I mean, even if they want to do it on a curve, I mean, that will be kind of outside of us. I mean, if they're gonna follow some type of risk methodology or like looking at certain curves, I mean, I don't think so. We want to touch that piece. That piece is like very.
No, I mean that would be an automated market maker.
Yeah.
Right. If you wanted to do an automated market maker, I mean, you can do that, and then you would have to the better. But you would see what it is that you're putting in. Right, because the liquidity pool is transparent, right? So it's like this is then so. But what you want to do is you want to not reveal it until because it's an auction, right? So you don't want this to be open, but you want to be able to have a trusted verification that is verifiable by everything, that the arbiter of the auction acted faithfully.
Okay.
So that's a relatively straightforward extension of Aave.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, so I think if we peaked on that, we can move to a couple of other announcements. Samrak Kishore, you've got some things to say about NASCOM, I think. Do you want to take the floor?
Sure, John. Thank you so much. Well, I think NASCOM event is already on, and we're looking forward to Kyle's session tomorrow morning, and of course, I think So today was very interesting. I did attend most of the sessions today. I think it was very interesting. I think we've got the right forum to make it big, make a big impact with big names. I got many messages today about baseline via multiple channels. So I think, yeah, we are making waves. One event at a time, or one day at a time. What is interesting is, on today's call. So just before this, when I was coming back home, I got a call from somebody whom I've been talking to about joining the consortium, and they spoke about using Besu, and they said, we need wallet integration, and um, we're looking for wallet integration. And here we start talking about MetaMask integration coming right in October. So I just texted them. So yeah, I think we are on the right track. We are attracting a lot of attention already. Thank you so much, all of you, for all the
Yeah, for
support.
Great
folks who don't
work.
know, NASCOM is like for folks who've attended CES in Vegas, right? It's that big in India, right? And
Yeah, I don't know
lots
how
of
many
places
people
all over the
attended.
world.
Yeah, I don't know how many people attended my session. I just know that I got a bunch of questions about DITs and VCs and so forth.
Well, I was actively shooing people away from that session. I just,
Oh, yeah, I know that.
I was there. I was there. So yeah.
He's a bald guy. He's scary.
yeah.
No, it's like that. That's one thing as a piece of feedback. You don't know how many people were actually in attendance. You couldn't see it. You couldn't also see how, the messaging that was going on between them. I mean, you could only see the so that's one piece of feedback that I have for the conveners.
Yeah.
It was not very interactive on chat. It's like so that needs to change. IMHO. So
I think
because
they have moderated chat. I think that's why, because they don't push everything to the speaker. That's what
yeah,
happens.
it should be. That's really, because otherwise you can't. It's really hard when you have questions and there's maybe a context around it. So it's okay.
It's hard to make a connection and engage remotely, and sometimes that feed gives you that. So as a speaker, you can get kind of some of that real time feedback, right?
It is
Yeah.
hard to get the high production values and that they shoot for, and all the fun bells and whistles that we've got and lower end. So, yeah, I think. Well, Andreas, thanks for that, because I'm speaking on Friday morning my time. I think afternoon India time, 4 p.m. or something.
It'll be 4:55 p.m. Yeah.
4:55. Yeah. So I'm closing out the show. And Kyle's talking tomorrow morning India time, late tonight U.S. time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, that's a brutal time. That's a brutal time for him. It's like
It's only like 9 or 10 p.m.
No, that was me. That's me.
Yeah,
Oh.
brutal for you, for sure.
What
For
time
him,
is it
it's
for
like
time?
it's like past midnight. It's like 12:30 to 12:30 to 2:30.
All right.
Are we going to
All
have
right.
links to the recordings made available?
I'm sure.
Yeah. Recordings are going to be available. And I think, see, what is key with this event is that this does not just attract developers or the executives; it attracts both. So we have decision makers as well as we have the people who are going to be contributing to the repository. So I hope that we get the right traction. Do keep in mind that keep on the plugs. Wherever you can, just plug in baseline and keep calling them to the repository. That's how we go. And of course, I think John, you mentioned already that we are very reachable. Even I'm very reachable. I can talk. In fact, most of the people I've been explaining to, after 2 or 3 calls, I come down to and I say that, what, this is very interesting, and we should take it in a group, or we take it in a group setting, or we even talk in Hindi, and we start comparing it with other things that we've been doing. So it's I think it's going in a very interesting way. It's just that uh, some of the people are waiting for the big names to join.
Well,
So
that's
yeah.
happened. So let me tell you a few things. And so thanks. I'll mention just a few things. First of all, I'll show off. Here's the link to EY's, the Ernst & Young's event last week. Featured Baseline pretty strongly. Got very, very good feedback from people on that. And I'll tell you what, at this point, Nick, I don't think you're ready to talk about what you're doing, but Nick is about to launch some pretty exciting stuff, and I'm going to be doubling down on the Baseline commitment from Consensus. So you'll see me a lot more drumming up deal flow, speaking at conferences, and every time I do, somebody notable comes up and says, "Hey, can we do this on Baseline, or can we use the Baseline approach for this?" And the answer is usually yes. And I fed a couple of really big solutions deals to a couple of companies that were happy to get them. So I won't be setting up a solutions team, but if you are a solutions team, you really want to be involved in the Baseline protocol community now, because those are the only companies I'm going to be feeding deals to. And I'm not the only one. So it's time to step up. It's time to sponsor, get involved, have your engineers be involved in the core devs. You can go to baseline-protocol.org, and it's pretty easy to get signed up. There's a really easy follow us on Twitter. You can sign up at baselineprotocol.org, and you can very easily get involved in the meetings, and more importantly, help evolve the code and get your products and services Baseline ready. The standard's coming, and it'll be ratified next week, and then off to full OASIS ratification from there. So time is up. If I'm hearing the calls of crypto winter hitting again, good, because crypto winter is when the work gets done, and Baseline is real work. So you want to get involved with this sort of thing, stop following the shiny objects, and get into something that is going to solve real problems for industry in a practical, safe, and effective manner. That's Baseline Protocol, and it's time for you to get involved. So step up and let's get working together.
Yeah. In fact, just signing off. There's a company which I know about, and they are looking for 2 developers who can work with them on Baseline. So if any of you is watching, just hit me up. Thank you.
Yep. I think there are more than a few developers in this community that have received a call and gotten deal flow because they were contributing. I'm not calling anybody that isn't contributing. Right on. Okay, so do we have anything else? Any last words? What a heck of a program today. 3 Code Don't Lies and a standards announcement. NASCOM going on. EY's event last week. Anything else that I missed? I love that Battleship thing, Dave, and let's get it done. Let's send it.
Well,
there's some money there. I don't mind spending some money on that. So there again, if we had some contributors out there in the community that want to make some money fast.
John,
Right?
you would have got some initial responses on the video which we released today.
Oh, the video?
The video.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it was. Already people just love it, and we showed it off at EY last week at the event before we posted it today, and people are like, oh, I get it, I get it now, I understand. Nothing like a little good animation, and Andrea Lee and
here as well.
Yeah, and by the way, if anybody wants to get that kind of talent, well, you can't have Andrea because she works for us, and I'm covetous of her time because she's awesome. But there are some contractors we used, including if you go onto the description of the video, which I can put back up here. I think put it up before the video. Well, it's on YouTube. It's easy to find. The little bit and a baseline protocol or baseline film, I think is what it's called. So in the description are the links to the voice talent. The voiceover talent was great. I love that guy. And it really worked out well. We're going to be doing more now going forward. So if you have any ideas for Little Bit's next adventure, let me know. And with that, I think we're out. It's always good to stop 5 minutes before the hour. Everybody, it's great to see you. And one last thing, if you want to be on the show, if you want to be interviewed about your project and show us your code that don't lie, or just talk about your project, what you're doing or what you plan to do, get on Slack, let us know. Just send me or any of the team members a message, and we'll get you on the show going forward. So with that, good to see everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.